So we're going to go ahead and start off on our Paragon homepage. So again, if you haven't logged in, please, if you want to follow along, you can, or if you just want to watch, you're welcome to do that as well. And we're going to go through some customizations in here. There's quite a bit you can do in Paragon, and even with our advanced class today, there's still even more things that are in there that I probably wouldn't even be able to get to. So if there's any questions along the way, like Debbie had mentioned, you can go ahead and I think there's a question and answer or chat bar in here. I haven't done Zoom, so bear with me. I'm used to doing GoToWebinar. So you should be able to chat, and I think you can raise your hand in here as well because it's been a while. So you should be able to, and again, I'll ask at the end if anyone has questions or as we go through certain sections just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start off here on my home screen with Paragon. And let's take a look first at the actual home screen and customizations you can do here. First thing is you've got containers that have different sections on your home page. If you look on the left, you have your quick search, your Paragon news. Yours might be a different order because I may have changed mine. It's been a while. Your information in the middle is typically your board information or office information. Your market monitor. I've got showing time in here and my message center. These can be moved around your side sections here. Your center always stays the same, but your side can be moved around. So if I want to put these in a different order, all I have to do is touch the header here at the top, and you can see I have 4 arrows. Hopefully you can see my cursor, but there should be 4 arrows. You'll left click and you can drag it up. You can move them from side to side. So if I want my quick search, I'm going to actually just close it. There's a little arrow here. I can close it. If I want it on the right side of my screen, which some agents like it, you can move it over to the right side of your screen. If I want my market monitor to the left, I can move it to my left. And as you're moving this, it's creating it a default for you. So it will stay this way until you change it again. So that is the one customization here. At the very bottom of your screen, you actually have shortcuts for additional sections in Paragon. So you can see I've got my saved property searches at the bottom, my search residential, mapping, transaction desk, cloud CMA, and list track. This can also be customized. If you look at the bottom of your screen and go all the way to the right, it should say privacy, and there's a little gear to the right of that. Go ahead and click on your gear. And here it'll give you the options to add or remove. So everything on the right side in this container box has already been added. That's what you're seeing at the bottom of my screen. Everything on the left are items that can be added in. So there's a maximum of 6 items. So if you have 6 here already, you won't be able to add something without removing something first. So you'll want to go ahead and click on something and remove it. So for example, let's say I want to take my list track off. I will remove it in the center here where it says remove. Be careful not to hit remove all. So you want to hit remove. And then on the left side of my screen, I can scroll through and see what I'd like to add instead. So maybe I want my hot sheet in here. I can check mark that, hit add in the center, and it drops it to the right. I can also put these in different order by left clicking and dragging them and moving them up and down. Okay. Once you hit save, this will make it a default. And again, it won't be changed again unless you come in here and make a change to it. If you made a change and you don't want to keep it, you just hit cancel, takes you back to your main screen. Okay, so those are your few customizations on your main page, on your home page. So now we're going to go ahead and let's go into our search first. We'll start out there before we get into reports. You can customize your actual search and save it. And I'm not sure if they still do it. I believe in Paragon, Debbie might show you how to add those items in. I'm sure it's been a long time if you haven't done orientation recently or our basic Paragon page. Or Paragon class, I should say. You may not have done this in a while. So we're going to go up to search residential. I'm going to walk you through it again. Just do a quick view of this. So when you have your search box open, at the very top here, you have your load search, last search. Last search, again, holds your last 15 searches. So if you put a search in, you forget to save it, all you have to do is come in here and click on any of these. They are abbreviated, so you kind of have to look at them and see what's in there to figure out which is which. But once you click it, it does lighten that search. So if I click on it again, you can see it's now grayed out. So it shows me I've already selected this one. So then it loads it in for you. You can take a look at it. If it's not the correct one, you can go back to your last search and click the next one. When you customize to the right of that, you can now add different fields that are not already on your page, or you can remove things. So as you click on customize fields, you will notice everything on the right again whenever you customize anything on the right is already on your page. Everything on the left are items that are available that you have not added in yet. So on the right here, you can see I have quite a few selected fields, but if you look above my selected fields, you have primary criteria and there's a drop-down menu. If you click on this, you have a secondary criteria box as well. So if you need to make adjustments to your secondary criteria, which is at the very bottom of your search screen, some people miss it. There's a tiny arrow you have to click and then you scroll down further to find it. Then you'll click on that and make changes here as well. Same as before, you would just check mark whatever you don't want. You can hit remove. If you want items in here on the left, you just check mark them and hit add. Okay. And you can also move these around. So if I want these in a certain order, which you can just shift them around to whatever order you'd like. And again, it will stay as a default if you'd like it to. And the difference with this one is you have an option at the top right, apply and save, makes it default. Apply just keeps that for just this search now. So once you log out, it's going to go back and revert back to your original default. Okay. So that is how you customize in here. Now, if I made changes, I'm going to hit cancel. If you make changes to this, then I'm going to actually clear. As you're adding items into your criteria boxes, if you look on the right, you have a criteria summary box. This is a quick way too, if you want to remove things. I'm going to clear mine out because if I'm going to save this as a default, you want to make sure all your criteria boxes are empty. And the reason being is if I make this a default, every time I hit search residential, if I kept those items in my criteria box, then my full address is going to show up every single time, the same address or, whatever other items I may have on here, actives or a closing date or whatever it might be in my search. So make sure that you don't have any criteria in your summary box. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the address. And actually, that's the only thing it added in here because these items are usually on. So I usually keep mine for sale. I customize mine for sale because I seem to sell more than I do rental properties. But you don't have to have your, that kept on. But so mine right here where it says sale or rent, it always defaults to for sale. And then you want to keep your listing visibility type, which is MLS listing broker exclusive. So if I wanted to save this, I've added, removed things, shifted the order. At the top here where it says save search to the right of customize, you will go down to save search as. You're going to want to name this so you know it's your default. So typically I'll name mine my residential default because you have a default set up for every one of your types of properties and they're set up through the MLS. So once I put my residential default, if I want to go and modify it, I'll know which one it is, or I can always delete it later if I don't want to keep it. And then at the bottom here, you're going to set as my default residential search, and it's going to save this for your search every time forward from this point. So when I log out, log back in, it's going to look exactly the same way it is now. Okay. So that is how you make changes to your actual search criteria boxes. Again, it's just customize fields, and then you'll search by your correct containers and add and remove whatever you'd like, and make sure you hit apply and save. Okay, I'm going to get out of that. Okay, so that is customization here. So let's go into the reports next, because this is, and actually I do want to show you real quick at the top here. You do have an option to search multiple, you can have multiple searches going on at the same time. So what it does is it creates these little subtabs. So when I hit residential, you can see I have my criteria box that I'm looking at right now. I have a map search, which takes me into my map. And when I run search, it will actually run and show my results from this point. Now, if I'm running a search and I have nothing in my search criteria, so it's not going to display anything, but if I'm doing a search and I get a call from a client and they need me to search a property real quick while I'm on the phone with them, I don't have to close this out. If you look here at the top again to the right of my spreadsheet, I have new search. I can click on new search and I can start a new window. And now I can fill in any information for that client. Then I forgot to search something else. I can click on new search one more time. I can have 3 searches running at the same time. I don't have to close one out and go back to the other, which to me, this is great. If you multitask, which I'm sure most of us do, this is a great way that you can go back and forth and not lose anything you're working on. Okay, and all you're doing is basically toggling back and forth by clicking on, the different tabs here. Okay, so I'm going to X these out to close them out. All right, so that is our criteria boxes. So I think there's here at the top, just in case some of these items you haven't gone through yet. I'm sure most of you have gone through sharing or emailing these, saving them. You can print, always print plus, because then you can select multiple. So when I'm doing showings, I will go to print plus, and I will select 2 different reports. I will select my client's MLS client view, and then I will select my legacy full agent view, full agent report. So then I'll select all the listings, and I can print both all at once. So now I'll hit print. If I have 10 listings, I'm going to have 20 actually print out for me. This is a huge time saver. So always use your print plus. You can export, so you can actually export this to a CSV file and do whatever you need to in Excel. If you need to create a spreadsheet for some reason on it, you might be farming an area and you want to keep track of these specific properties. Maybe you've sent lately, you sent some type of flyer or whatever it might be to. You can always select all these, export to a CSV, and then you can make notes on it as you're sending just sold flyers or anything you want to send them to get some more, generate some more business. So you can export to a CSV. We can customize our fields again. So if I want to customize fields here, and this is going to be our next one, we're going to go ahead and go to customize fields. And same as before, everything on the right is what we're viewing in our spreadsheet. So if you have not opened this yet, just open up run a search and just have your spreadsheet open. And then on the left, again, items that are not included. There's quite a bit in here. A faster way to find something that you're looking for is just type in here in the top left of your screen. And then you can add and remove it right from here. Now, there was containers before, but here we've actually got group. So if you look at the top here, on the right side, it says group listing. If I need information on the left that I want to add in maybe about an agent, maybe I'm looking for the agent address or an agent email address. I want that on my spreadsheet for some reason. I can come in here and find it this way. If I go back to my group, I can go down to Office, Team, Features. It will actually open up all my features for me, and I can add those in. And also, it will give you your feature category. So if you want to customize this with anything other than your basic criteria that comes in with the listing, then make sure you click on this drop-down menu and search for whatever it is that you need. Once you have these in here, you can actually move them up and down just like I did before. So if I want these in a specific order, I can place them in that order. Items that are all the way at the bottom are going to be all the way on the right side of your screen. So sometimes you don't want to have to scroll through to find those. So if there's anything important here that you want, closer to the front, so you don't have to scroll to look for things, this is a faster way to do it. Just come in here and put it in whatever order you'd like. If you'll notice, there's a save at the top, but there's also a revert to default. So a lot of times you'll start adding and removing things, and then maybe you have so much on there and it's overwhelming and you don't want all this, or it's now not to the point where you want your spreadsheet and the items are in there, you've got too much. If you hit revert to default, it goes back to the MLS default that's originally set up for you. So it will remove anything that you had ordered, originally in there and placed in there and saved. Okay, I'm going to hit cancel from here. Now, another way, and actually, I'm going to go ahead and just put something in my criteria really quick because I want to get rid of that message. So I'm going to go there real quick before I show you some other things. So let's go back to one of my other searches. It's just going to give me a lot less than hundreds of thousands of results. Just click on this one. Let's see if any of these open up. See if I have any results with this one. And okay, this might be a better one. Okay, so let's, this is going to be better. This is a little bit more broad. Hopefully this will give me some results. I just didn't want that. There we go. I didn't want the yellow showing up there with the error. So once you have all these in here and you have done a customization, say, for example, it's the way you want it, but right now I'm searching and it's getting frustrating because every time I need to look at something, I have to keep scrolling all the way to the right, but I don't want it as a default. I just want it right now while I'm running a search. I just want to be able to see it on my left. This is like an Excel spreadsheet. You can actually move these containers or these columns. So for example, if I want maybe the agent's name, maybe I'm looking for a specific property and I know this agent has it and I can't find it. I'm going to drag this over, left click, drag it to the left and move it over. And now I've got the agent's name here. If I want this sorted by anything other than price, by default, whenever you open up a spreadsheet, it's sorted by price, low to high. So if I don't want it sorted by the price and say I want it sorted by the city, for example, I think these are all where it looks. So this probably won't be, oh, maybe not. Let's say municipality. It is. So let's go ahead and do it by square feet. So I want smallest to the largest. All you're doing is clicking on the top of that column. So here is from the lowest square footage to the highest. If I click it again, it's going to go from the highest square footage to the lowest. So it goes descending, ascending order just by clicking it a second time. So I can sort these in any order. Now I moved agent over here. Now when I log out today and I go back in, my agent will be moved back to the right side of my screen. So if you're running a search and you've got to move things around, it's not gonna mess up your default. And if I'm running the search right here and then I run a new one, it's not going to have my agent move to this side because my new one's going to be back to my default. So just a quick tidbit if you need to, adjust these or sort them in any other order.
Lisa?
Yes.
Can you show us where do you click to customize your spreadsheet again?
Yes, absolutely. So at the top of your screen, and again, you have to be on that report. So for example, I'm on a spreadsheet now, run a search, make sure you have results first. And right above here where it says customize fields. Everything on the right's already on my screen. On the left, you can add it in. Is there any other questions, Deb, while I'm in here?
That's it so far.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's how you customize your actual spreadsheet. Again, if I'm looking at another report, you've got options for other reports. We do have options to customize in these reports as well. Now, they're limited. Your spreadsheet, you have a little more option. You can add a lot more items. Your actual reports like your legacy full agent, your MLS client view are going to be limited. So go ahead and go up to just click on a report on the right side and then go ahead and click on customize again. And when you open this up, what you're going to see is shaded areas. Everything that's gray, you can't customize. If it's white, you can. So on this one, I have no options to customize. I'm on the legacy full agent report, but let's go ahead and see. I know some of my actual buyer reports I can. So I'm going to go to my MLS client view. And here's a few areas here. So with this section here, you can see at the bottom where my remarks are, I can actually customize it here. So when you open this up, you're actually going to double click on the section. It's going to show what's in there. So right now, public remarks is in that section. If I don't want them seeing public remarks, which most likely you probably want to keep your public remarks in there. I always keep mine in. It just gives them more details about the house. But if you want to give them something different in there, you're welcome to. On the left side of your screen again, you can add it in. If you want something added to that same section, you can always try to add additional items, but just be careful because public remarks can have a lot of information. So you might add additional categories, but because there's so much in public remarks, I might cut it off. So that one might not be as good of a place to make adjustments, but if you go down and hit cancel real quick, at the bottom here where your features are, you can add different features. So if there's something here that I want to add in, I can go ahead and add or remove whatever I don't want here. So right now this one has roads, roofing, sewer, septic. I mean, some of those items that they probably could care less about. So you can go ahead in here and remove whatever you don't want and then add in whatever else you would like. So you can do this and then you can save and close. And again, you can always go back to your defaults. One thing in here, I do like you can preview this too before you close it out to make sure you like it. But this can be customized on any report. So again, just go to the report on the right side of your screen. And I'm going to go to some of my other, let's see my details here. Here's some of my custom brochures. These are really good ones to do. So maybe you want to create a brochure for an open house. And so these are really good to throw into your open houses. There's a couple different ones in here. Let's do a full feature brochure. And then you can come in here, same thing, customize those fields. And then I can add, I have a lot more options in here. So you can see this whole section here, I can add in whatever I'd like. Same thing with this one and this one as well, as far as my agent information. So a lot more options in some of these reports that are like your brochures, open house flyers, and things for your buyers. You can, again, do your spreadsheets, and there's all kinds of others that you can make changes to, your multi-ops, your specialty views. Again, you're just going in and clicking them, and then you can go ahead and make your changes. Okay, so that is how we do our customization in reports. Now, I will show you another place where you can go in and you can customize all the different reports all at once under our preferences. So I'll show you that afterwards. Okay, correction. A lot of people don't even realize this is here. When you're looking at a listing, and I actually just used this yesterday, if you find that there's something incorrect on that listing, you can report it to the MLS without them calling the agent saying, Lisa called me and said that you have something incorrect on your listing. They're not going to do that. All you're doing is just sending a correction report. So I've seen it happen where agents will list that there is a basement, there's no basement. So a lot of buyers get very upset, and so do agents. So I can come in here and just type in a message and says, I just showed this home. It says that there's a basement, there's no basement, or it says that it's a ranch and it's a split level, or whatever the correction is. This will send to the MLS. They will contact the agent and ask them to make the change. Again, you're not going to report that you're the one that called, but this is a great way to help make those changes, because sometimes it's not the agent. Sometimes the admins are inputting their listings, and it's a simple typo. So a great way to go ahead and do corrections without having to call these agents and let them know it's incorrect or whatever it might be. So correction button is great to use. Actions. Your action button has a few different options here for you. And let's see if mine's going to load here. There it goes. Okay. So in here, it takes you directly into some of your shortcuts. So you've got your history, which these are on your full agent reports. And you've got your little Skittles, little shortcuts, and you can click on those and that will give you those. So your history, your map, and a quick view. You also have a couple of options in here that's also in your tabs at the top, but these are just shortcuts to get to them. So if I wanted to see, like, for example, a mortgage example for a 15-year versus 30-year, I want to do a quick Cloud CMA flyer, property reports. I want a community report. Does a build facts report for you, your home snap, your market stats, your mortgage calculator. You can see there's things for realist, RPR, showing time. This takes it directly to showing time. That's what your shortcut will do. Start a transaction, takes you into Remind Docs, and schedule showing. So there's some shortcuts here in your actions that whatever you have open, if you click on actions, it allows you to do that from here. You can also do your actions from your spreadsheet and select multiple properties. So if I want to schedule a showing, for example, I can go and select multiple properties in my spreadsheet and select showing time to take those in there. So that is your little action link over here. And then under more, you have an option to go into criteria. It allows you to toggle your stats. If you are having a problem, for example, sometimes I have issues with printing. I might be on a computer at the office and it's giving me a problem, or it's cutting things off. Sometimes I need to go to a PDF instead of your HTML view of that listing, and that will take care of it. So sometimes I need to go to PDF. It actually will make this into a PDF report. It actually downloads it right here at the top of your screen. And now I can go ahead and print this. So quick way to shift from back and forth from there. So I'm going to go back to my HTML. This also allows you to add to a CMA. The CMA is a CMA that's done in Paragon. So Paragon has a CMA for you. They have improved it. It's better than what it used to be, but I am still a big fan of Cloud CMA. But if you'd like to use the CMA in here, this will allow you to run your search, go in your spreadsheet, select those properties, and go directly to create a CMA. You can maintain your listing in here if it's your listing. Gives you driving directions. Listing slideshow. We used to show this in the very beginning. I don't know if it's they still show them in the classes. I know it's been a while since I've looked at it, but your listing slideshow will allow you to send a link, whether it's to your website, to a client, and it will include multiple properties or even just one property. And it actually will do a nice little slideshow for you. So if you click on listing slideshow, it will walk you through. Let's see, I don't have it selected. Hold on one second. I have to go to my spreadsheet. And let's go back into a spreadsheet view, just so I can show you. It's going to give you a pop-up window and you'll make different selections in there. Back to, there it is. Okay, so from here, if I select a few of these, I can go ahead and go to more, listing slideshow, and now I can create my listing slideshow. So it will give you multiple examples of items that can be added or removed in here. If you want a display name, what you want on the listing information to show up, I can customize my displayed fields. So certain criteria that I might want to show or certain things I don't want to show, I can add or remove from here. And make sure you hit save once you do that. What photos I'd like in here, and then it will compose an email for you. And then in that email, and I can actually preview my slideshow right now, in that email we'll have a link, and that email will be on here, class test. That will send to, you can send to your client. Again, you can copy that URL, drop it onto your website or any other website you'd like to put it on. And let's see if this will give me a quick view of it. I know some of the offices have this set up. I believe ours does, where it sets up on their monitors in their lobbies, and they have like all the agents' active listings in the office, and it's just a loop and it continues running through. Now you do it does expire, so you will have to renew it. I believe it's every 30 days, but it does, like I said, a nice little slideshow for you. And this might be a great way. Maybe you have some new listings and you want to send it out to all the agents in your office or whatever it might be. So a great little way to create a nice slideshow. Okay, I am going to go back. So this opened a new tab for me. So if you did open yours, you'll want to go back a step here to your other tab, and I'm going to hit cancel from here. Okay, so that is pretty much everything here at the top of your screen. So I believe I pretty much went through all of this. Is there any questions right now about reports or customizing your actual criteria boxes or any of the items up here at the top, any of the shortcuts?
Go ahead and ask those questions. And then, hey, Lisa, as long as you're on your reports page, would you show them the all fields detail for me? It should be one of the favorites. It's automatically in those favorites. Oh, nope, unless you take it out.
Yeah. So let's see, I'll find mine. Yeah, mine might be taken out, and I might have taken it out when I was showing an example. I forgot to put it.
I know that's what we do so much when we show how to favorite and unfavorite, and then it's like, oh my gosh, what did I do with it?
Things that aren't in here.
Is it a specialty view?
I might be specialty. Yeah, all fields detail. There it is.
Yep.
Okay, this is it.
So when you're looking for more information on a listing, this includes everything that has been entered into a listing. And actually, I just got approval to adjust the very first box because it's 3 things in there: the building, property, and location. We're going to be breaking those down into individual containers. So the next
right here, I see it. Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. And actually, if you like this report and you want to keep it as a default, I think I did. I just put mine in. I might have
as a favorite.
I just double clicked it. Yeah, I think I just put mine. Where'd mine go? So I just double clicked it and went in here. Maybe not.
Oh, there you go.
Go back to it. There it is. So there's this little star here to the right. They made it a little bit easier. Before you had to drag these up, it was such a big pain. I'm so glad they improved this. But to the right here, if you just touch it and hover over it, there's a star. So if I click that star, it's now made it a favorite and it adds it to the top. If you haven't added things to your favorites, please do. It makes it so much easier because, as you saw, I have to fumble around to remember which one of the sections that reports in. There's so many of them, it becomes overwhelming. So definitely add those to your favorites, and then you can always remove them. So I can just unclick on that. I just click again and it removes the star. It takes it back into the folder. You never lose it if you unclick. It goes back to your folders at the bottom. Okay. Is there any other questions while we're in here, Debbie? Let's go into mapping real quick in case anyone has any other questions real quick. So I just want to see if there might be some things in here that you may not have used yet. So map search, and all I did is, again, you got your sub tabs here. I have my residential open, just went back 1 tab to my map search. And a couple things in here. So when you draw in here, you can always adjust your drawing. So if I throw in here a quick polygon shape, all you're doing is clicking on your map, and you just keep clicking to change the direction, and click again, creates it. If you need to make modifications to these as you have them up on your screen, if you look here at the top, once you've created a map, to your right of your draw, you have an edit. You click your edit. If you click on the box itself, it gives you all these dots here. So every one of these dots can be adjusted. Now you can't move this one. The polygon cannot be moved. Once you've created it, I can't shift it around on my map. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so you can see. But if I go back to my drawing tools and I do a radius is your circle, goes from the center, left click, drag it out, left click. I can move my radius. So once you click on that, this is the only one you have an option. You can see there's a dot in the center. So I can actually left click and I can relocate my whole circle on this one. So the radius one is the only one, but all the others, your polygon or your rubber band shape and your polygon, create all 3 of those. These can all be adjusted once they're up here. So you can resize them and change your shape, but your radius is the only one you can actually move. Okay, so if you want to make changes. Now, one thing I use, and I know Deb probably touched bases on this on our regular Paragon page, but it might have been a while since you've done our Paragon class, I should say. You can exclude maps. So if you haven't done this in a while And I'm going to add some criterion here really quick. Let's see if we can get it. Let me go back into, do I have a city in here? That's fine. Okay, let me remember my city. Go back to my map. I was wondering why I was not showing any results. Here we go. Now it's going to pop up a few things. So if I want to exclude an area, so I draw my map, close this out here on the top left, and there's an area in here that my client says they do not want to see any houses in that specific subdivision, for example, or I might be running comps and maybe it's all new construction and then there's this very small area that it's all older homes. I can exclude those on the map itself. And the way you do this, zoom in here, this one has some results. So once you have your map, you're going to draw a map over a map. I'm going to hit draw. Say I want to just do a quick rubber band and say these streets over here. I know these homes were built in 1950s and I have new construction. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. I'm going to go down and say I want these streets right in here and click again. So it doesn't do anything yet. So I've got my map here. I'm going to go over to my edit. And this last one I draw would be my bottom one here. And if you look on here, you've got the name of the rectangle. And then you're going to click on here to exclude it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, it's blue right now, but if I click on it, it's going to turn red. And you can see my listing just disappeared. So now what I've done is I've created a map, but this is an excluding map where all my other that are blue are my including maps. And you can see here on your page as well. So if I want to include it again, you just click on there on the left and it goes back and you can see my listing popped back open. If I have a bunch of maps here and I don't want to get rid of them because I'm going to need them later, you have this little eye here to the right. This actually will close out and actually hides them. Basically, it's just a hiding tool. So now I only have my one map. The rest are still there, so I can go back and turn them on at any time, but you can hide them. The X will delete them. So if I want to get rid of any of these, you would just hit the X and it removes them. Okay, so that's just a quick thing on the map here. I'm sure you probably looked at the parcel layers. My parcel lines I always keep. I like seeing my parcel lines because then I can see kind of where the property is. But anything you need to search in here, like attendance zones are great if you're looking for specific schools or school district. I always use these. If I zoom out here, you can see I've got different ones popping up. I can also put in here private schools and I can show all the schools coming in. So it gives me little dots of where the schools are located. So you have a few different things here in your layers that you can add onto your map. I'm going to turn this off. I obviously can print from here. You've got your points of interest. This is, hospitals, banks. It's supposed to pop up here. Different items that might be points of interest in the area. This is also to hide different groups of markers that you might have on your, if you have different shapes, this will let you hide them as well. This is your key code, gives you your color code on things that you're seeing. So I only have it active right now. And this will actually set the boundaries. And so if you need to include a shape, this will actually set your boundaries for them. So you can zoom in, zoom out to exactly how you want it. And then you also have your search radius. So if I'm running a search in here, I can go ahead and put, 1 mile search, and those create an auto for you and took me right to search. So if I go back to my map search, it should have a search radius. Here it goes. There it is. So I want to show you. So that automatically does a radius tool for you, drops it right in the middle of your map. Okay, so just a quick highlights over this in case you haven't really got into it much, but so we are good with here. So we've gotten through into our reports. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And is there any questions at this point before I go into more items? Because I do want to get into our preferences and show you your options in there as well.
Looking good. Yeah. So if anybody has any questions, please throw them out there.
Yep. If there's things that I haven't gone over, please, or if something I missed or went over it too fast for you, just let me know because I want to make sure I cover things that you might be interested in doing or need help with. Okay, so we're going to go into our preferences. I'm going to show you some items in there because we did some of them already, but if you go into preferences, you have a lot of choices in here. So under your preferences, a couple things. If you want to walk through a wizard, when you first start a Paragon and you first logged in for the first time, you always have this preference wizard that takes you through a few items. But if you want to go into everything in your options in here that you can set up defaults, you'll go to preferences. And all the way on the left here, you have user. So I'm going to go up to user. And it's going to open up all those boxes for me that we just looked at on the left side of your screen. So your basic ones that you've probably already set up is going to be your office logo, your agent image. If you go down a little bit further, you've got option for mobile account settings. So you want to make sure if you want to include your mobile number, you've got your correct mobile number in here. Go back to the left of my screen. Under user preferences, let's look at our system preferences. So your market monitor, you can also do these directly from those sections. But if I go to market monitor filter, this is where you can adjust that market monitor on your first page. So it defaults to whatever items you may have in here. So mine, because I don't want it searching the whole MLS, I like to see a quick overview of areas that I work in, mostly. I have mine set up for residential and condos, and I have it just for all of Macomb County. But you can get specific. You can put 10 different cities in here if you'd like. So if there's certain areas that you're always working, or maybe you farm that you want to keep an eye on, this is a quick way to view those. So this gives you an option to set up your defaults in here. And you can hit the magnifiers. That'll help you also find the items that you want. And below that, it's going to ask you, what do you want to see in that section? Now, there's 4 different tabs in that section. You have your market, you've got my info, which is your listings. So if I click on these, you can set up that default. You can go to office, which is everything that your office has as far as listings go. And you also have your firm. If your broker owns multiple offices like mine does, you will see everything from those. So if you want the default to open up on your page when you log in to any different section other than your market, you can just select those here. By default, it only goes 1 day back. So if you want to go up to 7 days back, you can. So you can change that whatever way you want. On your market monitor, you can go up to 30 days back when you're running a search, but your default will only go 7 days back. And I think the reason being is if you're including multiple areas or whole county or all the MLS, there's a lot of information there. So if you go back 30 days, you're going to have a lot there. So it's probably going to be harder for you to even get to load as a default. So up to 7 days, you can go back. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my market here. If you make changes, go ahead and save. Let's look at our search options on the left side of our screen under market monitor options. Under search options, you've got your default search criteria, which will always pull up, which is the one that you may have saved yourself, or it could be the MLS default. If you want to enable search warning messages when you're running a search, they should get those. So when you're running a search, if all of a sudden there's an error, you should see that little error pop up on the right side of your screen. You want to enable long descriptions in your search forms. You can select, when we're customizing, there's an option for a short label and a long label. And the difference is when you're looking at that, it will just abbreviate. If you just want it to have your long descriptions, you can change that here. If you want to use a custom address for map searching, so by default, your map, when you open it up, will open up to your office location. Maybe home office, and I always want to open up from my home office, or there's a certain area that I farm and I like to open up from there. You can select that. You click on the map here and then relocate this wherever you want it. So then you'll drop your pin on it. So I can put in whatever address, city, whatever location I want, relocate it and drop my pin on it and make sure you hit save. And that will make that your custom map. So whenever you select map search map, it will always take you to that new location instead of your office. Map boundary by default, it allows you to enter your map boundaries by default, which is, it will zoom in or zoom out to a certain zoom level. Sometimes when you go in there, it will be zoomed like way out, and sometimes it accidentally gets clicked when you're on there. So you just want to make sure that you're obviously zoomed in enough where you're not looking at the whole map of the country. It's taking you right to Michigan. So. And zoom to fit, so you can zoom out to display all listing results. Some of these, again, might be already set up for you. Your parcel layers, mine are on. Map view, I always go to road. You can go to satellite view, aerial or hybrid, which is like a satellite view. How many you want to see on your page when you run a search? 25 is your default. And then it will do search text autofill with your MLS default as well. On the left, again, result options under search options. Again, please, if you do make changes, your save button is up here. I apologize. I'm so used to auto saving, but save is at the top. Result options. I don't want to just save this. Okay, my result options. So here's a couple things in here. First thing is, when you run a search, your default is what will pull up. So if I have 5 properties, I'm going to see my default spreadsheet every single time. I prefer it that way. If you don't want it that way, you can have it open up to a specific report. But remember, if you've got multiple, you're going to have to scroll through each one. So I keep mine in here as a default, but as I go down further, if I double click on any of those in my spreadsheet, it will open up into your legacy full agent report. Okay. My other reports, if you want to hot sheet report, it's great. But one thing I have in here that I just actually helped an agent with the other day, when you're sending an email to a client, you can select your reports that you're going to send. I have mine set up as a default. I like to send them the client full package. It's that nice 2-page file report. So if you want to select one of those, so every time I hit email, this report's already selected as the report that I want to send out. So if you don't, you can just leave it, without one, and you can put in whatever you'd like, but it does give you that option to include a default. And your phone number, if you want your phone number to be on your reports, which I'm sure you do, go ahead and make sure that you've got that check marked as well. Again, save if you want to make any changes. User interface on the left side of your screen. Let's go ahead and hit that. You probably remember how to do your beach theme, which I think I've had mine on for a while now. I think I had it on through winter, but if you want to change your theme at all, you can. So if you're getting tired of looking at, if you've got snow up there and you want something different, not 4th of July, we've got some fun little themes in here. This is just for your review. Your clients aren't seeing this, it's just you. So if you want to make changes, you're missing the 80s, you can go ahead and select that. So those are there for you. Again, make sure you hit save. If you are finding that when you are in your search box and you find that, or any of your searches, all those icons at the top that will say like customize and it says email, if you find that you're only seeing an icon and there's no words there, it's because of this right here. That means you have this check marked, and that means you're only going to see these little shortcut icons of a picture, and then you can guess what it is or click on it and see what it is. Sometimes people accidentally click this. Sometimes if you know the system real well and you don't need the words up there, you can have this on as well. So if you find that's a problem, make sure that's unchecked. Your background printing, if you use Chrome, you want to make sure your background print's on. And then I changed my font. I like, obviously, as I'm getting older, seeing is a problem. So I went to a 12 point. I like my Tahoma. But if you want to change this, you can change it to whatever you'd like. So when I send emails, this will automatically default to this font and this font size. And my font color is black, but you can choose different colors when you're actually in there. Okay, so that is your user interface. Again, hit save if you made changes. Contact manager, this is just a couple things. If you want to display more than 25 when you pull your view manage contacts, you can. And your default for contact activity, if you want to go 7 days to the max, so you can go back as many days as you want. That will give you that shortcut. They'll show you activity with your contact manager, anyone that you've added in for Collab Center, auto email notifications. That's what your activity widget shows. Time zone, this is if you're setting up, you want to make sure you're on Eastern. When you set up like your email notifications and you want to set a recurring time, make sure you've got the correct one on here because that could throw off the time that it's actually sending to your client. It's got your calendar in here if you use that. I'm sure you have a million calendars, but one thing that I find is really important, listings due to expire. I love to see this. This shows up on my homepage, so make sure these are turned on. All right, so that's your system preferences. Let's go to report views on the left side of your screen. Spreadsheet. Okay, so these are your different reports. Let's go to our details report, and let's go to your buyer one. I'm going to go to details, and I'm going to open up my custom. This again is where you can customize those fields. So right now I can see all of my reports and go one by one and go in and actually customize these. So this is a great open house flyer. Everything white you can customize like I showed you earlier. So you're going to click on any one of these fields, select what it is you want to add or remove, and make sure you hit save. Okay. And then again, you can always preview these before you save and close that. So those are just under your user preferences, under your report views, and everything is in here. Your email, you can customize a few things in here, which I'm sure you have a lot of this set up, but let's take a look at it real quick. Email options. If you want to always include yourself as a VCC field, you can. So this will actually auto-populate and it'll blind copy you for everything you send out. Now, if you are setting up Collab Center or auto notifications, be careful, because if you have this set up, then you're going to have to delete your VCC every time you set those up, because it will automatically set it up so you're getting a blind copy of everything you're emailing out to your clients. So if you have it turned on because you have an option in there to receive notifications, then you're going to get it twice. So that's the only reason I would say, be careful with that. If you turn it off in yours and you're not setting up your notification in there where you're getting the auto notification automatically, then you can set this up. If you want to be blind copied of, every email that you send out, you can. Okay, auto-populate email message body. I don't like to include this. I have multiple messages that I can send out emails to my clients, which I'll show you in a second. So I don't like to automatically include this in my default because I want to select which one I want to use. If you want a red receipt, this is where you select that. And this allows you to create that link, the hyperlink, and display your property address. So when I send out an email notification, it will give me a link for my client to click on. And then it will also show the actual full property address, not just the MLS number, for my client to view. Okay, go ahead and save if you changed anything. Head down here. Default notification recurrence. So if I set up for auto emails for my client and I want them always set up for a certain day and time, this will set up a default for you. So mine is just set up for 9 a.m. I make adjustments as needed, so you really don't need a default here, but you get that option. Message body. So I'm sure you probably already have message bodies in there, but if you don't, for example, here's my prospecting one. This is just a quick one that I can just plug in when I go through and I'm setting up my collab center or my auto emails. So, and then I just add their name and I, can add in additional verbiage, but this is just for me as a shortcut. I hate typing this stuff over and over again. So if you want to add additional messages, you can, you just hit add new. Email signature, I'm sure you've done yours already, but just in case, you should have one down there. You can click on it. That's going to be your default. But if you want to add a new one, you can have multiple actually. And you can make changes here. So you have all kinds of options to add photos in here and make changes, but make sure you save it and it's selected as default signature. So every time I hit email, this automatically drops in for me. Okay, that's my email signature. Collab Center. Let's go to our Collab Center on the left side of our screen. So anything you want to change in your Collab Center, this is where you can come back in and make your changes. Or if you haven't used Collab Center, go in here first. There is a wizard as well. If you go under preferences, I can go to my wizard here, Collab Center Preference Wizard, and it will walk me through each one of these sections as well. And this auto saves too. So you can do it that way, or you can come in here and make your changes. Just make sure you hit save as you add or remove things in here, okay? And my last thing is CMA. Again, this is the CMA that is in Paragon. It is not your cloud CMA. So if you make changes to this, it's only going to change those defaults in there for you. And I think that's everything in our preferences here. And just really quick, because I'm looking at the 80s and I want to change my user interface because it did save it for me. So I'm going to go back into my user interface real quick and change it back to my beach theme here. Perfect. Okay. So I think we've gone through, I think, everything here at this point. So is there any questions? Anything I didn't show or I showed and I spoke too fast, which I sometimes do that. Let me know if there's anything here that I can show you again. Let me know, Deb, how I'm doing here, if there's anything I can answer.
Hey, and actually, you know what I just stumbled upon too the other day? Because I was working in the mapping and I just needed a little bit more screen space. And what I found is that, okay, in the upper right-hand corner, right next to your name.
Oh, right here. Yep.
See, there's a little up arrow to the right of your name.
To the right of my name. Yeah, right here. The little, that moves it up. Oh, yeah, the shortcut. Oh, you didn't know that was up there? I don't know if I'd forgotten about it or you just never needed it, but it was like, oh, thank you. I just needed a little bit more space. It is nice. It is, especially if you're working on it specifically and you want to keep scrolling up and down. Absolutely. I don't use it as much because I'm always multitasking. So I'm always going back and forth to different tabs. So usually I don't use that as often, but no, it is a great little tool. So all it does is it will, enlarge it. Instead of hitting, you can hit Control plus. Control plus will always make it larger. Control minus will make it smaller, but it's a great way to remove all those tabs at the top and not have to look at those anymore. So yes, that is a great little tidbit there. Thanks.
And of course, this is being recorded, so I will get this out to the YouTube channel, and I will go ahead and email the link to you guys, to the attendees as well.
Sounds good. I'm trying to change my user interface. It doesn't want to take me back to my beach theme.
It just didn't, it just didn't want to refresh.
There it goes. There it goes. I'm like, why am I keep looking at the 80s? I've seen Pac-Man enough. I'm good. So it's very confusing to me. I like the basics. So Okay. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, I don't know of anything else. Deb, is there something else that you can think of that we typically don't go through in classes?
I think you got all of the customizations. Now remember, when you guys go to use this stuff and you're like, oh, where was that? Feel free to email us. I am here. Sometimes I'm in class and I can't always get to you as quickly as possible, but please let us know those questions that you have. We can also do an individual Zoom and help you out, show you where they are on your screen, which I love that. That has been one of the greatest tools.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, Lisa, thank you very much for teaching for
No
us
problem.
today.
No problem. Thanks.
Any other questions? It looks like we're good.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And we can always even do a customized class. I have done classes which were just like a Q&A, which I love doing that too, because agents are stuck on certain things. They don't need a whole class on CMAs. They just have certain questions. Happy to do something like that for the class where we can come in and you just tell me what you're looking for and I'll show you. So,
a nice open forum. Love it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for joining us today. It's nice seeing you, Deb, as always.
Good seeing you, Lisa. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next video.
Thank you. Have a great day.